Outside, he didn't acknowledge her presence. Instead, he seemed to make a show out of adjusting his mirrored sunglasses, letting his fingertips rest on the butt of his gun. It seemed intentional, as if he meant to intimidate her. What an ass, Libby thought. Lowering her window, she heard the breeze lilting through the grass. She heard the drone of cicadas, the crunch of the cop's booted footsteps, her own pulse in her ears. "Smile," said a voice in her brain. "Afternoon," he said. "I was going too fast," Libby said. "Yes, ma'am." When he asked for her driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance, she pulled her license from her wallet and got the insurance card and registration out of her glove box. Other than the owner's manual, they were the only items stowed there. She hadn't had the Lexus long enough to accumulate anything else. She handed them over. The cop gave the documents a once-over, then shifted his gaze along the length of the Lexus. "Nice car," he said, and there was something faintly damning in his praise. Some note of ridicule that caused her to squirm slightly in her seat against leather that felt suddenly too rich and buttery soft. No one paid attention if you drove a car like this in Houston, but it was the wrong sort of car out here. She needed a Jeep. No, she thought. What she needed was a truck. Preferably an old truck with fading paint and a few dents. She'd become part of the local color instead of what this officer likely thought she was, an uppity rich bitch from the city. He mentioned the city now, inclining his head toward her. "You're from Houston." "Yes, sir," she said, and could have bitten off her tongue. He might be all of 40 or 45, nearly young enough that she could be his mother. Would she call her son Sir if she had a son? Hardly. He went back to looking at her paperwork. She looked at the front of his tan shirt. The badge indicated he was a patrol sergeant, and above it, his name tag read, L. Huckabee. He handed back Libby's documents. "So where are you going in such a hurry?" He looked at her intently. His dark hair was shot with silver and cut short, military short, and his eyes were a light shade of brown, almost tawny, and set close together. Any closer, Libby thought, and he would not have been handsome, which he was, but in a way that was almost overpowering. "I'm meeting the contractor who's building my house," she said. "I was late getting out of Houston. There was an accident on the freeway there. Had traffic tied up for miles. We had a bad one out here early this morning." The sergeant looked off in the direction Libby had come from. 3 kids out hell-raising, driving drunk, lost control, went head-to-head with a big old live oak. The tree won. Huckabee brought his gaze back. His eyes were hard. With disgust, Libby thought. Was that what she sensed? But maybe it was only that he was at the end of his shift and exhausted. Or maybe he was sick of his job, sick of scraping kids off the concrete. Who could blame him? He said, "If the driver makes it, he could face charges." "I haven't been drinking," Libby said. "If I suspected you had, we'd be having a different conversation." Huckabee's smile was fleeting. Libby didn't return the gesture. "Let me give you some advice, ma'am." Huckabee bent his face toward her. "It's as dangerous driving out here as it is back in the big city. Maybe more dangerous. We've posted speed limits for a reason, you understand? Because going faster on these rural roads is hazardous, what with the blind curves and steep hills and drop-offs. Then the lack of regular traffic can lull you into a false sense of security. You get to thinking you're the only vehicle on the road." He lightly tapped the lower edge of her window. "I don't want to have to write up an accident report on you, too. You know what I mean?" Libby looked into her lap. "I'm not some kid you can intimidate." The words cut a hot trail across her brain.